Hey everybody, it's Andrew and welcome to episode 123 of the Jaguar podcast. In this episode, we're going to be discussing the 2020 Jacksonville Jaguars 53-man roster and some of the cuts. So let's get into it. To start off with, at the quarterback position, we have Gardner Minshew and then we have Jake Luton. It ends up that Jacksonville unfortunately cut Josh Dobbs. I hate to see him go, but he went to the Steelers, and then we ended up waiving quarterback Mike Glennon, but I think he's going to be coming back on the practice squad. So more to come there. We go to the running back position, and then we have Devine Ezigbo. He is on the team, but he was placed on injured reserve because of a hamstring injury. So we have re-signed somebody from Tampa Bay, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name because I'm terrible at pronouncing names. You guys know that. Then we have James Robinson, an undrafted rookie from, I believe, University of Illinois. So he got a starting position on the roster at running back. We have Chris Thompson, who we picked up from the Washington Redskins. I don't think there's any surprise there. We have Rock Armstead, but he's on the COVID-19 reserved list. So that is who we have at running back. At fullback, we have Bruce Miller. Kind of voiced my opinion on that signing. I don't know if he's going to be a real fit in the locker room. He's had some kind of off-the-field issues, but we'll see what happens. So Bruce Miller will be our fullback. At wide receiver, we have Laviska Shenault Jr., D.D. Westbrook, DJ Chark, Chris Conley, Colin Johnson, who we drafted from University of Texas. Really excited to see what he does. And then we have Keelan Cole, who will be returning, who had definitely a better season, last year with Gardner Minshew. We ended up cutting Terry Godwin, so he will not be playing with the Jaguars this season. And then I believe Marvel Ross and Josh Hammond we cut as well at the wide receiver position. So that is the wide receiver position. So we go to offensive line. And at offensive line, we have Brandon Lindner returning at center. So really no surprise there. Brandon Lindner has been just a workhorse and really solid for us at the center position. We have Tyler Shatley. Really no surprise there. He's been with the team for a couple years and a pretty solid backup. We have Andrew Norwell at guard. You guys all know my feelings on Andrew Norwell. Hasn't played real well and lived up to his expectations at the guard position. So I don't know if he'll be back, after this season. It really depends, but he really needs to step it up because he was getting pushed back into Gardner Minshew, gave up some sacks. So the interior of the offensive line, the guard position, has not been a very solid one for Jacksonville. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But yes, Andrew Norwell will be returning at the guard position. Then we have AJ Cann. He will be returning, at the right guard position. Then we have Ben Bartch, who we drafted from, I believe it was St. John's. He is moving down to the guard position. He played tackle at St. John's, but I think that's really where they want him at. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Ben Bartch playing the guard position. I don't think he's going to have any trouble with it because he's a very versatile player. He used to be a tight end, and then they converted him to tackle and now to guard. So I don't think he's going to have any issues there, and hopefully he steps up. He might get some reps this season if somebody gets hurt, or if Andrew Norwell gets hurt or AJ Cann. So he has made the roster. We have Cam Robinson at left tackle. No surprise there. Hopefully he can stay healthy. He's had a lot of injury trouble last season. I think he missed the first game. So Will Richardson had to step in at left tackle, and he has made the roster as well. So nice to see Will Richardson back. It'll be interesting to see if he returns or they re-sign him next season. He'll be a free agent. But hopefully, who knows what happens there. Then we have Jawan Taylor at right tackle. We drafted him out of Florida last year. He's played really well, and I'm hoping that he can stay healthy and have another solid season. We have some cuts on the offensive line. I believe it was Ryan Pope, Austin Pleasance, Casey McDermott, and then Garrett McGann, and I think I'm missing somebody else. Blake, I can't pronounce his last name, but yeah, some cuts there at the on the offensive line. We go to the tight end position. We have James O'Shaughnessy returning. Had that terrible ACL tear, last season, I believe, during the Panthers game. So that was really unfortunate because I think he was going to really have a breakout season. But, he's recovered. He's going to be returning. So I'm really excited to see what happens with him coming back, because I feel like he has a really good relationship with Gardner Minshew. We have Tyler Eifert, who made the team. I don't think there's any surprise that he made the team. He's had a pretty good career, and we signed him from the Bengals. So I think the big thing to look out for at the tight end position is durability, because we've had a lot of issues there, especially last season. Eifert's had some injury problems. O'Shaughnessy definitely has had some injury problems. Josh Oliver, he's out for the season. So, if it'll be very important for our tight ends to stay healthy this season. And then we have Tyler Davis, who we drafted out of, I believe it was Georgia Tech. He will be our third tight end. We cut two tight ends from camp. Matthew Flanagan, and then Ben Ellerferton, I think, or Elefron. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right, but those are the tight ends and the cuts for the roster. Then we go to defensive line. We have Avery Jones at defensive tackle, Devon Hamilton, who we drafted from Ohio State. We have Taven Bryan. We have DeJuan Smoot, who will be playing at the defensive end / defensive tackle position. He's pretty versatile there. We have Caleb Von Chasen, who we drafted from LSU. He'll be at defensive end. Josh Allen at defensive end. Cassius Marsh at defensive end / outside linebacker. We have Timmy Jernigan at defensive tackle, who we got from the Eagles. Nice veteran defensive tackle. And I'm really excited to see what he does for us this season. And then we cut, we have Adam Gotsis, who we got from the Broncos, who plays defensive end, defensive tackle. And then we have Doug Costin. I believe he's a defensive tackle as well. We cut Karan Reed. I think that's who we cut. I believe he was a defensive tackle. So, I think the defensive line looks pretty solid. I'm really excited to see what happens with our players at this, defensive position, because we have a lot of veteran leadership on the defensive line. Josh Allen at defensive end position, a great outside pass rusher. Really excited to see what Caleb Von Chasen does, at the defensive end position. DeJuan Smoot, he'll be in a contract year, so it could be really interesting to see what happens. I think we have a really good pass rush, and if everyone can stay healthy, it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. So we go to the linebacker position. We have Joe Schobert, Miles Jack, Quincy Williams on the outside, Leon Jacobs on the outside as well. Shaquille Quarterman, who we drafted from the University of Miami, he's going to be a player to watch at the middle linebacker position. Great tackler. I'm hoping that we see a lot of him this season, because we need help with stopping the run. And I feel like Shaq Quarterman is going to be one of those guys if he can stay healthy. And then we have Dakota Allen. We did cut Joe Giles Harris, so he will not be on the roster this season. Then we go to the secondary. So we have Trey Herndon at cornerback, C.J. Henderson, who we drafted from Florida, Josiah Scott, who is I believe he's a nickel back from, Michigan State. Then we have DJ Hayden, who's returning, another nickel back. Chris Claybrooks, who we drafted. Luke Barku, who I really don't know a lot about. And then we have Daniel Thomas at safety from Auburn. Really excited to see what he does this season. He's a great tackler. Reminds me a lot of Donovan Darius. Had him on the show. So that'll be really exciting. Then we have Josh Jones, who beat out Ronnie Harrison apparently in camp. The coaching staff's really excited about him. So he will be at the safety position. And we have Jared Wilson as well. And then Brandon Watson at cornerback. Not very familiar with his body of work. We did cut Perry Nickerson from the roster. I think we might try to pick him up on the practice squad, but that is to be seen. So that is the secondary, and then we go to special teams. So Josh Lambo's been awesome. He'll be our place kicker. Punter Logan Cook, and then Ross Matisic, I believe, as our long snapper. And we did cut our long snapper. We did cut one of our long snappers, but I'm blanking on his name. I can't remember it right now. But that is essentially the 53-man roster or initial roster. I'm sure there'll be some changes depending on injuries and waivers and who we might want to pick up on the practice squad. But it'll be interesting this year. I am excited. I don't want to be negative, but we did purge our roster of a lot of veterans, so we'll have a lot of work ahead of us, but I'm really excited to see what happens this season. Let me know how you feel about the roster. Leave me a comment on the YouTube video or podcast episode. Subscribe to the channel. Show your boy some love. Leave some feedback on Apple Podcasts. Leave me a review. Let me know how you think about the show. It always helps me when I put these episodes together, so would really appreciate it. Stay healthy, stay safe. NFL is coming. Really excited. Go Jaguars, and I'll see you next time.